of languish amongst the falling stars. Who am I to pose a threat to a world my blind eye can't see? Open now, my eye of the mind, and see the world for what it is. You've been following me, though I'm not quite sure why. Being that we're in this ward, in the epicenter of so many different dangers, aren't you afraid a ghoul might eat you? No, I wouldn't eat you. It's not what my nature is, and I have no reason to do that. Am I a ghoul? Sometimes I ask myself the same thing. It's just a melancholy existence, caught between being human and just short of it. I am not anything but myself, and I hope you can understand that I'm a bit hesitant to tell you anything more, on the pretense that I don't know you. Now, if I knew you, perhaps I'd be inclined to, but get to know you. That's an interesting concept. But why? Of what benefit is it to me? Do you truly have anything to offer? Oh, pain? Do you see it? Well, my past hasn't been the most kind to me. But that's all right. I never asked for it to be. Ever since Mother. Never mind. There's no need. No need to concern yourself with it. The ghosts of the past are meant to stay there, aren't they? Hey, do you like reading? I hope to someday write my own book about my journey, like Dante's Inferno, only I never returned. Does that scare you? The concept of someone still in their own hell. To be honest with you, I wonder, what am I? So many times, common sense has left me, and yet a poetic answer is all I have to look in the mirror. What brings you here, really? Now I'm curious. Should I help you, or put you out of your misery? Judging by your expression, you don't fear nearly as much as you should. I admire that, though the line between stupidity and bravery is often quite a fine one. Now, if you're going to remain by my side, why don't I take you to the safest place, and one of the most pleasant places I used to go. Tell me, do you like coffee? Maybe tea? Well, it's not that big of a deal. I was more curious than anything. You see, this place we're going, it's called Enteku. And it's one of the best places I've ever had the pleasure of calling, well, home. It has warm faces with warm smiles, warm coffee, and it saves lives. Oh, now I'm talking like I'm old. But I'm probably not much older than you. Actually, it doesn't matter. I still can't place you. What are you, really? Are you here just to accompany me? Or did you come to learn more about me? Just because you know a little bit about things won't save you in this world. Sometimes it's kill or be killed is what they tell me. But I refuse to believe that. No, I want to change that. There's too much that currently happens that we simply cannot. That's why someone like me, someone who unwillingly has been strengthened, needs to find a way to change this corrupted world into something we all can love. A world in which we actually want to live in. I wonder if we can accomplish that. What do you think? There's been several who think it's a pipe dream, but I can't give up on such things. Or I couldn't still call myself human.
Are you still telling people that, Kaneki? It'd be such a shame if they underestimated you in all your beauty. And your friend, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Tsukiyama, I see you're still hanging around here. It's good to see you.
As with you, old friend. My heart yearns when it sees you. The time we spent away from each other, it broke me. But now that I see you with my own two eyes, I simply cannot take my eyes away. But is that person next to you truly worth your time?
That's not really your concern, is it? With all due respect, I'll associate with whoever I please.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't dream on taking that away. You are nothing without your free wings. And that delicious personality of yours. Though I really must be going. But parting is such sweet sorrow. But we will meet again. But until then, I must bid you farewell.
Would you like some coffee? I'm sure there's something we could find that would help you enjoy yourself. There's, well, only so much we can order depending on what you prefer. Though their coffee is delicious and well spiced. Do you ever wonder why it is the world is so divided? I've always believed it to be far too normal. Something that exists but likely shouldn't. And well, thank you for joining me for this date. I'm quite a simple man myself. Just a college student. Someone who, as you may or may not know, goes on ventures and exploration. And yet, sometimes I wonder, is it a good choice or not? My hair. I knew it would come up sometime, but that was due to a very personal issue that I had. I was put through the ringer many times, and, well, let's just say that it changed me. I'd like to think for the better. Now, would you mind taking a walk with me? Did you know, a long time ago, someone took me on a walk down this very same place. And it was something of a life-changing experience for me. I never saw things quite the same. I couldn't do what I used to. Instead, I became a new me. And for better or worse, it made me who I am today. And that just made me more adamant in my desire. At first, it was survival. But after a peculiar event, I found a new love in seeing the pure flowers of the world and protecting them. But then another one dawned on me. It was maybe the most crucial of them all. I found out I really enjoyed keeping people as pets. I don't mean to scare you, but it's nice and abandoned here. You can come willingly. They never do. Now we see. What were you doing back there? Why would I take you here? Why would I do this? Because it's so fun. You see, Rize taught me something indirectly. It's so simple, this world. You just have to make it your own. Make it into your little plaything, like I'm going to do to you. Don't worry, I wouldn't dream on making it anything but enjoyable. Now, why don't we get our party started? You see, I'll do to you what was done to me here. Nothing personal. In fact, I just think it's the best way to get to know someone. Because until you know how they'll scream, you just can't. You can't say you know them. Oh, sorry. Do I look a little scary right now? Well, on the bright side, I'm only half serious. You'll be coming with me, though I won't suffer you like I did. No, part of me just wants you to understand, to be able to see me as man and monster. Then again, what am I? Were you looking for a monster? Part of me thinks you were when we first met. Now it begs to be question. What's going to happen next? I can see it painted all over your face. And it's pretty simple. I'm not a cruel person. I know how it's like to be frightened, to want to know what's next, and to have no clue. So I'll give you a hint. There once was a gorgeous plateau that everyone from the village constantly wanted to visit, until one time things got out of hand, and before they knew it was too popular. But then one person got an idea, one that I think is very strange, but perhaps for them it worked. Now they decided that all these people were hogging it. They were making everything so different than it used to be. So much so that by the end of it, they'd had it. So they burned the field flowers, burned it to the ground. And what they found were the secrets lying below. That people weren't coming there just to have fun. They were coming there to dispose of their crimes. That even beneath its immense, immeasurable beauty, there was a horrible secret. One that was unintentionally brought to the surface. Of course, the town went to chaos, but the one who burned it had a smile on his face. Do you know why? Well, it's quite simple, really. Because his act of jealousy, of hatred, of corruption had shown the world through untinted eyes. And he was right all along. It was wrong. The world was misguided. The world was exactly what he said it was. Now tell me, do you like stories? Because I have so very many of them to tell you. I remember when I said today, I mentioned someone. Well, they were standing where I am, and you where I stood. I thought it was just a casual, friendly outing. My naive ways cost me my life. It was only through sheer chance that I woke up again. But then it was different. Everything was different. I couldn't view the world the same anymore, for I knew what it was like to go from prey to predator, to go from victim to killer. But I'm not heartless. I don't tell you this so I can get some kind of advantage over you. Not in the slightest. I tell you this because it gives me a chance to relive my human feelings. You know, ghouls, they're such fragile creatures. For as much as people want to call them heartless monsters, the truest tears I've ever seen have been from ghouls. And still yet, the most cruel and unfeeling devices, quite literally, and forever seem to come from humans. Of course, they're not all bad. I'm very well aware of this. There's far too much, not in one nor the other. And that's why both sides need to realize the other is every bit as human as they seem. They may be predators or prey, but there are ways to go beyond this. Ways for things to change, but it takes something fearsome. I grew to love something that day. Something that I've never truly and admittedly that I've ever been able to love before. You see, I always loved these books, depicting ghouls in such a poetic romance. And yet those books became my life. What do you think is better, to read or experience? I've asked myself that question, being that I've done things firsthand. I realized quickly that I can't decide. But I was hoping today you could help me understand just a bit more of how things work. Not that I'm planning to do anything too cruel, but I want you to understand me. And I kind of want you to... Never mind. I wouldn't want you to be afraid, or anything like that. That's never been my goal. In fact, it never will be. Through the torments of life, I've learned a respect for pain. Just because my nerves never deadened didn't mean the pain was without purpose. You begin to retreat inside yourself. And in that time of need, you finally realize who you are, what you are, deep, deep down. And you come to grips with yourself or you don't. There is no two ways about it. But more importantly, I hope you'll hear me out. I need you to hear me out. Of course, you're free, in a certain extent. I could let you walk away, but where's the fun in letting that field of flowers remain growing atop your head? I want to pick it apart and see what secrets you're hiding. I do have to apologize to you. You see, I seem to have known more about you than I let on, and I did tell you a few lies. Though it's nothing I did maliciously, just that I know a little bit about you, and I want to know more. You may have thought it was a chance reunion of distance being closed and someone to talk to on the way home. Maybe even someone you find attractive. Of course, I won't flatter myself. I look good, but in the innocent kind of way. You wouldn't corrupt the innocence, would you? That'd be so sad, but so very like this world. You know, I got a taste for it myself. Torture, corruption, violence. They're all the same as what we hail as the best. Two sides to the same coin. That's where the poetic justice comes in. You see, you can't have one without the other. And the realm of ghouls and humans, we all need each other. The naivete of some, working only to make them look like fools. Now what's the purpose? I've asked myself during my darkest hours, what is the meaning of life? And I can only come to one conclusion: gratification. Living out those fantasies and dreams in the deepest, darkest secret of your mind. In that etched out place you always have boards on. Break it open and see what's inside. But you already know what's inside, don't you? The deplorable things that you think are too bad to exist. But they do exist. And as much as you deny them, they just fester like a wound before never being able to heal. And that's because you, as well as many others like you, have never truly experienced what it's like. Curious to what I mean? It's simple, really. Until you've experienced something near death, you'll never know how your subconscious works. You'll never understand who's looking back at you in the mirror. Some people are fine with that. Those same people turn around and cause the problems of the world. So I must cure you. Did you know I once went to a doctor, and then I killed him? Not for my own sake, but because his experiments were just far too much to exist in this world. Is that what you thought I'd say? Sorry, but that tale's just a fiction. The good doctor will get his dues when he's done with his work. What he's doing isn't all bad. In fact, he's given me a few leads on making some progress. Now, I'm getting sorely off topic, but the important part is, you're here with me now. And that alone makes you better than all the rest of those around. Oh, sorry, there's no one. I forgot we were in an abandoned alleyway construction site. Now, before we put a rest to this, why don't I ask you, what do you want? What is it you want me to say? That's so naive of you. Go ahead and explain it to me once again. I see that you're one that's an idealist. You want all of your enemy rooted out and gone. Isn't that just so human of you? But what if the enemy comes from within? Do you just off yourself? Is that what you think? Well, let me tell you, the easy way isn't quite so easy when you regenerate. By now you must be wondering the details. My particular story has taken me beyond simple morals or what's right. This world is wrong, and I see it for what it is. Now, the sooner you can accompany me, the sooner things get easier. The sooner you can be just like... Oh, no. I wouldn't want to ruin the surprises. Let's go pay the good doctor a visit, shall we? Unless you'd prefer to be my lunch instead. Of course, that's always an option. I wouldn't mind. I'm no more brutish than I need to be. You can trust me, can't you? I wonder if you'll fare as well as I did. So I sincerely hope you have more aptitude than I. Unless you favor yourself, looking for a most painful mistake. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to talk your ear off. I just meant to give you a warning. The reason why I chose you has a lot to do with who you are. An anti-ghoul activist. But it beckons the question, what happens when someone hates something externally, but it becomes something internal, a piece of you? What if you became an artificial ghoul? What would it really mean? I didn't used to be quite this harsh on things. But you trespassed through a barrier like a wicked witch. I'm afraid I can't just overlook this one. and I knew exactly what your weakness was. Pretty boys, don't look so surprised now. Your past is no biggie, no business of mine. Though I do happen to know a lot about you. Rumor has it, you've been doing something you shouldn't have. And you've made quite a lot of trouble for me. It's such a shame that I'll have to... Well, not a shame. Tragedy. It rings so well off the tongue. And I'd like to see what it looks like on your face. Oh, trust me. I promise I'm not bad. It's anything but. I'm just doing what I believe in. And I believe some people only learn after they've fully experienced things. From dusk till dawn, the sun comes again. But where will it stop? When will it begin? Now, after you are the guest of honor after all. I wouldn't dream on making this anything but your day. Now a bigger question is, what is it you're thinking? That glare. Does what I'm telling you upset you? I sincerely hope not. It'd be such a waste, you getting devoured right here. I could show you the face of one of those ghouls you hate so much. A self-fulfilling prophecy, is it? I do like a Shakespearean tale or two. Now, why don't you make yourself at home? I don't want to have to do this, but perhaps you can cool your head if I strap you in. Well, me and this place have some history. Not the best kind of history, but, well, history all the same. Say, would you like to know a secret? I'm doing all this for 2 reasons. 1, to use your position against you. 2, because I want you as my pet. I hope it excites you. Otherwise, you might have a difficult existence on your hands. That's only if you cause problems, though. If not, I'm sure we can work something out. And I'm sure most everything is going to be exactly as I want it from here on out. Now, do we have an understanding? I'm not all cruel. The little wars we've had, the memories lost and gained, the pain long since subsided. I now can't look at it the same. It's my job to rule over things. My job to see you for you. But what does that matter now? You don't have to tell me a single thing. You'll behave exactly as you, well, as I intended. Now, why don't we get to a little bit of the procedure, and we'll see how you do. For the most part, I'm only joking with you slightly. Only because If it was too heavy of an air, you'd never feel comfortable enough to open up to me. Why don't we teach you an important lesson? Did you know that there's always a series of dominants? Always someone one above you, a rung above the ladder, perhaps a shelf above. But the point is, there can only be so much. And the moment you think you're at the top is when you'll find someone vastly superior. Now, how do you think these orders are established in a society which kills each other? It's quite simple, really. A constance of submission, or possibly, well, you'll see the rest firsthand. I can tell that look. I can tell it more than anyone can. That's the look of somebody who sees one of the most alluring pretty boys right in front of them. But I'm not that cruel. If I take something from you, I can at least offer that. Why don't, for just a moment, we pretend that you're all mine? I always like more tender, calming situations. I'm not all sadism. In fact, I quite like peaceful times. But sometimes fear is necessary. Sometimes you need to take a stance. Other times, you need to make an argument. And right now, something tender. Do you like me pretending to be your boyfriend? I know from your past, you must be reveling in it. Does it excite you? Why am I asking you when I can just ask your body? Glad to see you're more than willing to compromise. You're so tasty. I could just eat you up. But then, what would I do? It'd be so boring. What's the matter? Don't tell me you're really feeling it now. Look at you. Your weakness to pretty boys, pretty men. It is so transparent. But I don't dislike that about you. You're honest about what you love. As am I. Oh, your beauty knows no bounds. And my mark will claim you. Just like that. Look at you, writhing in wonder about what I'll do next. Of course, it's a mystery. One that you'd never know. Until, of course, I decide you've had enough. Oh, it won't be quick, but it might be enjoyable, don't you think? I'm not the bad guy. Not by a long shot. You should know by now. I could have done so much worse to you, and the only reason I'm doing this is because the future is one with understanding, unification, and otherwise a lot of self-gratifying justice. Hurt me. Why, you won't even be touching me. I'll do all the touching. I can't trust you. You would waste all the effort on things that don't matter. But look at you, pinned down as you are. Does it excite you, having a pretty boy tend to your every tiny facet of that body of yours? Come now. You can't actually think I was going to disappoint. How many times do you think I've watched you from afar? How many times do you think I planned this? Oh, you fell right into my trap. But I'll make sure it's a sweet one. One that will linger with you, dancing upon your tongue. Now, speaking of which, why don't you open wide? And no teeth, or I might just take a bite out of you. Food for thought, isn't it? Now, say, the good doctor's going to see how you are. I promise you, I'm anything but mad. Now, why don't you be a good little pet and show me what you can do with that mouth of yours? Besides, complain over things that you don't understand, of course. Oh, that's it. Now you understand. It's all so simple when you put your mouth to good use, don't you think? Ooh, do you like my flavor? Do you like tasting the very creature that you hate so much? You know, even if you bit it, it'd be no consequence to me. Only to you. Because by the time you'd be through doing that, would have already grown back, and I would have dealt with you more personally. Of course, you wouldn't be the first, definitely not the first, to make me feel things like that. I'd just say, don't tempt me. The rest would be nothing more than a side story. Oh. Amazing. Incredible. Now, look who's being greedy. I can see it in your eyes. Those cold, glaring eyes, they really work me up. It makes me so excited to see how deplorable you'll be. Soon you will. Do you enjoy the corruption like I do? You see, I see you as a glorious well of potential. Potential to sate my very peculiar desires. You who knows me, there's so little. I feel like I've gotten to know you just a bit. Not bad for a novice. I'd say you're getting the best of me for now. But I can't just leave it at that. I need you to have a prize. Now, don't make a mess, or I'll have you clean it off the floor. Got it? See, it's simple. I give you a command, and you listen, or I make you listen. Yes, just how it should be. No. That's the stuff. What a perfect way to continue our night. Are you mad at me? Do you hate me for it? Why, I hope you don't. It'd be such a shame to have to put you through behavioral camp as well. Well, you see, once you change, things will be a little bit different. I'll keep you as my plaything, and if you aren't disciplined, I'll have to teach you the hard way. Now, neither of us would really want that. Instead, why don't we be civil about it? I feel like a lot of this is a misunderstanding. Because you haven't seen things from the other side, you go making assumptions. Those assumptions are hateful because you only see one thing. Yourself. And the us versus them argument. Did you know it's all psychology? It was actually quite close to being something that I majored in. However, I guess for someone like you, there's only one way to teach you, isn't there? Well, I suppose I should take a bite. What do you mean it's not a bite? I think you'd prefer this to the alternative. Don't you think? This one's pleasant. And that one leaves you in a most undesirable place. Besides, Isn't it nice? Getting your dreams come true. I don't think I could easily tire of you, especially once you've realized the errors of your ways. I think it's going to be just desserts for you. You're quite sweet, aren't you? I guess we'll find out soon enough. What was that remark? Oh, really? Curious, aren't you? All the more reason for me to show you the truth of it first hand. Now, don't squirm too much. We might as well have fun with it. Now, where were we? The Ghoul serum. Haven't you always wondered what it's like? Well, now, you'll get just a taste of it. And by that I mean, you'll have to live the life you condemn. Then maybe you'll understand why I took you here. Maybe you'll see what's wrong with the world if you only experience it firsthand. Those were for good luck. Now the rest of it is in your control. See? It wasn't much of an operation. Now it's only a question. One that is a simple one to answer. How long your body will take. Now I'd love to touch you, but I'd love much more to hear what you think of me. What does the one-eyed king mean to someone who's such a ghoul hater? Do you hate me? I thought as much. Well, there's something you should know. In fact, I used to be human, like you were, moments ago. Well, to be fair, you probably still are, mostly. But things change too fast. And that's why the world must be changed, by force if necessary. I learned in my time spent in Algiri tree, strength will change it all. Everything we do is a necessity. And you are a linchpin, my dear. What do you think of that? You're going to help me. Though you're not necessary, per se. You're just, well, someone I wanted to get to know better. I see. Do you happen to like fiction novels? Oh, that's fascinating. Did you know I'm writing one of my own? It's about a world that's been devastated by a collision of conscious and subconscious, the tampering of science and the abuse of Earth, leading to nothing less than a world of nightmares, with silver linings and a strange, contradictory girl, and a boy who doesn't know much of anything. Though I feel if anyone is clueless here, it must certainly be you. But you've only seen things as they want you to see them. It'll be a while, but stay here for a bit, and you'll understand the world much more. You can call me biased all you want, but my best friend is human, and he's stuck with me since the very beginning, suffering threats worse than death. So you're a fool if you doubt me, but that doesn't stop you. Well, I guess I should be going. For now, just enjoy your stay here. Oh, and by the way, I'm not quite as bad as you think I am. Probably not quite as nice either. Only time will tell. Is that so? Do I really seem elegant? Elegant in such a way. I'm impressed that I give off such cadence. Then again, I hear you have quite the weakness to pretty boys like me. You know, I was once offered a job as an idol. Do you know why I said no? Why, it's because the old me was quite shy. I find being bold the only way to beat my introvert nature. And so I do it, unapologetically at that. And now, I'm afraid our time is truly drawn to an end. But things will be just fine. Well, provided you don't try and do something silly or stupid, but I'll be watching. Oh, before I forget, next time, I won't stop where I did. And the only reason is because you haven't earned it. You'll have to try harder than that, if you want the attention of this pretty boy. So do try, won't you? It's more fun that way, for both of us. And while I talk a lot about it being for business, I dare to mix business and pleasure. That's simply the only way I know how. It's so boring without it. And you're an enigma. Did you know that? For all the things I know about you, there's a dozen things that I can feel myself getting more curious. You must have known who I was, at least to a certain extent, because I believe your association with CCG would have given you enough to go off of. And yet you didn't. What a strange curiosity. Well, I won't keep you too much. Instead, I've got some coffee to brew. Want some? I hope you like it. It's one of the few things, well, you'll get the idea soon enough. Don't worry. If anything should happen, I'll make sure to protect you. Though there should be no such case. Who would hunt you and dare to piss me off? No one. Not even CCG would dare to pick a fight with me. Though it's more or less been dismissed, at least as far as we're concerned. Right, dear reporter? Oh, the silent treatment won't help. You're already our pawn. But I shouldn't soil the mood. Companion is the word I was thinking of. Pardon. It's good to have you aboard.